African. And with that, I just have two more words to say. Obama out.
Oh, greetings all. As you can see, beautiful skies, sunset a little while ago. There's still some light in the sky. And we walk. And the old, that's the one that, oh well. Let's leave that out of today's conversation. Star of the evening and star of the morning. That story is one that you all should know. Start looking into it. Especially the people who believe that those who are now wreaking havoc on the world are God's chosen people. But anyway, there are a few videos I would like you to watch, and I'm going to add the titles to them, show you a short piece on the three of them at the end of this video. But why I am making this video actually is to keep your focus. As you can see, the sands are beginning to shift. The video I put out before says that it's not always the strongest army, the largest army that win wars. If you go back in history, you'll see that the Romans were defeated by a group of people called the Picts in England. Destroyed the Roman army, and after that they pretty much had to leave England. The same thing happened in Germany. One young prince that the Romans captured his village and took him from his parents to keep the village in line because his parents were the chief of the village. So they figured if they captured him and kept him, that they would control the village because his father wouldn't want him to die. That young man grew up and became a legionnaire, one of the best legionnaires in among the German people who were taken to Rome. And one day he built an army from all the different tribes and savaged the Roman Germania army. Salvaged them. And the Romans did come back, but they never recovered thoroughly from that defeat. And funny the thing is that in the passage of time, the same hordes from Central Europe, Germany and Eastern Russia, Ukraine, and Poland and around that area were the one who marched all the way to Rome, and the Pope had to negotiate with them. So it's not always the biggest army. In our time, we saw Vietnam, Korea, and from 2001 to about 2000 and, well, till today, because it was today that the Iraqis finally said, you better leave, or otherwise we're going to destroy all of you. And guess what the American army did? Vacated Baghdad. So you see how the world is changing. And it took just 4 weeks. 4 weeks. Nobody in 1945 would tell the American president that when they formed NATO and when they began to 1971 create what would become the dollar economy for the world, that in 4 weeks America would go from the preeminent and dominant nation on the planet to the condition that it is in now. If somebody had told Truman, Eisenhower after him, that this would happen, they will be laughed at. And the funny thing is that people began writing books about how the American empire is going to fall like the Roman Empire. And only a few years ago, I saw one preeminent historian bragging about, oh, that foolishness again. People have been foretelling the end of American empire for 60 years, 70 years now. America is still going to remain a strong nation. But as the power, the great power that determined what other nations around the world did, how they acted. You know, when America called a meeting and say, hey, you better show up tomorrow or otherwise we're going to destroy your economy. Some nations around the world today are going to say, no, you won't. And it won't happen. Because they looked at the war with Russia and Ukraine. And some of them started reading history, going back to Vietnam and Korea, and say, oh man, why did we miss all of this? Nevertheless, as I was saying, America is still going to remain on the world stage. Look at France. France is broke. I mean, nobody. The only people taking France seriously today is the Africans. And many of them have even decided, you know what? France is a joke. At least they're talking. They're not acting like France is a joke. They're still, when France calls, they still start shaking. But when France is not calling, they will be talking bad about behind France's back. Behind the president of France's back. Macron is, you know, this and that. France is gone. But France is still working. France now sent troops to Nigeria, sent troops to Kenya, because these two presidents believe in France. So France is not thoroughly dead yet. But England is. England is gone. Germany, Italy, Belgium, they all in the history books. Not saying that they won't be able to come back, you know. If somebody gives them a lifeline, the Russians, the Chinese, somebody give them a lifeline, they'll survive. Evening. But as I was saying, the powers that were and now walking into mythology. The powers that were just a few years ago are now passing into mythology. And as I said, America, it still has the capability of destruction. And that has to be taken seriously. Because though you might say, look, we got some business to take care of, we can't come today, it might still make sense to go. Alright, when America calls. Because sometimes people clash over silly things, you know. Rumors. Yeah. America, where you want you. A false flag on American soil blamed on you. And here comes the attack. And they don't have to put boots on the ground. Fly over you, drop a few missiles, destroy your whole capital, all your leadership, and the country is gone. So don't celebrate. Those of you who are foolish will start celebrating. Do not celebrate. That's just, I can just urge you not to. And like I always told the people who listen to my videos, this is a cycle. The leadership today is not going to be the leadership tomorrow. And those who rise up from the bottom and become leaders they too are going to be swept away in the time. When you start educating yourself about how things work, you're preparing for your future, your children's future, your country's future. One of the videos I'm going to show you tonight is about the Philippines. Ferdinand Marcos' son, Bongbong, or Junior. And since he's been in office, he's been poking China. And today, as his sole source of, how would I put it, support begins to evaporate. Well, Israel too, if you've been watching carefully, was supporting Philippines. But when his support began to evaporate, he called China. He had to call China. Now he wants to talk about developing the oil in the Philippine Sea with China. Because the supply of fuel, energy in the Philippines is down to, what, about 30 days? And except for Russia, who's sending oil, none is coming. See, when you cut your nose off, you see, people go get BBLs and do a Michael Jackson. And then gotta come back home. Face the music.
Fuel stations run out of diesel across Australia. Waiting for days, India feels impact of gas supply chain disruption. Vietnam braces for flight cuts from April after China and Thailand ban jet fuel exports. Iran war ignites African race to keep gas pumps flowing. And another article that we all need to be paying attention to, what soaring diesel costs amid war with Iran mean for meat, vegetable, and fruit prices. So why is there an energy lockdown?
Her channel is called Melanie King. Go look at this video. They're shutting everything down. This is week 4. Remember I told you about week 4? When this thing began? This is the first video that I would like you to go look at.
Moment when this war with Iran was just meters away from escalating, perhaps to a point of no return.
Now, this one I would like you to watch for entertainment value. At least that's what I think of it. It's just entertainment. But they are gaslighting the believers into believing that this is the end time. Imagine that. This is the end time. And I've been seeing videos and hearing news about how the U.S. military, the commanders, are telling their people that this war is the war for the end of time.
Estate project in Kenya.
What if I told you that social media is exploding with the claims that Israel is quietly building a mini state inside Kenya?
You can have a plot on the cliff and full of quiet. This is a piece of dream. Even if you just want to live here as a weekend house, it's a great place.
A foreign settlement on African land, echoing colonial history. Sounds shocking, right? But here's the real question. Is this actually happening? Or is this...
I would like you to watch this one also, because I told you they was coming, and they are not coming now. They are there. I want you to listen to this and go watch the video. Please watch the video.
Criminals, and that they are not trusted people. They don't tell the world the truth. They were taken to Palestine as refugees.
Kenyans are angry that an Israeli man wants to bring teenagers from their country in.
How many years ago did Idi Amin tell us, the African and the diaspora, about this? The warning, we never listen. Okay. And then it's a little bit long. The video is a little bit long. But listen to the beginning, at least about the first 20 minutes. It's going to reveal some things to you that you won't believe, including about the Arabs. I told you. In the country of UAE, the leader abandoned his people and fled to Saudi Arabia. Qatar, same thing. As I was saying, it's called George Galloway. Blinkmanship, day 26. Go listen to this video, at least the first about 20 minutes of it. Listen to what he is saying carefully. Listen carefully. This article is from a news site called Newsbreak. It says U.S. Treasury declares insolvency with $47.8 trillion in liabilities. You hear that? The first paragraph. U.S. government has been declared insolvent by the Treasury Department. The Treasury Department, of course you know what the Treasury Department is the people who collect money from whatever source the United States government gets it. The report shows total assets of $6.6 trillion against liabilities of $47.78 trillion as of September 30th, 2025. 6 months later, and it's been going up by $2 trillion per year. So just imagine that. Go read the article. It said it's from a news site called Newsbreak.
On your bedroom? Where is your bedroom?
The world's first state of energy emergency has been declared here in the Philippines in response to the Iran war. So, how are people reacting? At this petrol station in central Manila, drivers are uneasy. They feel the declaration won't be enough to protect them from more fuel price hikes. Prices of diesel and petrol have more than doubled since the war broke out last month. These drivers have already told us that they're actually facing almost a half of earnings as a result of the higher fuel costs. People are going out less because they know that there's an energy crisis, and they're not really sure how they're going to make ends meet. Transport workers are still planning to strike later this week. They're calling...
When I left the Philippines about a year ago, the price of 1 liter of fuel was 53 pesos. You see the price of the fuel on the screen right now? This is only week 4 now. If we go into week 6, I'll tell you about that later. No,
Iran war is an absolute catastrophe, and the cover-up has already started. Here's what happened. Saturday.
Well, it's all happening at the same time. And in this position, the U.S. can't afford to stop. Trump himself can't afford to stop. So, we'll continue. Hope you're enjoying another day. Don't let the news be a hindrance to you for what you're doing. If you have knowledge, you're able to plan. And in planning, you can secure your own and maybe some other people's life. Have a great day wherever you are. Peace.